Hello and welcome to E10 Extra, your new weekly preview show where we'll be taking a look at all of the action coming out of E10 throughout the week and catching up with some familiar faces. This week we're going to be catching up with journalist and Morecambe fan James Main, who'll be giving us the lowdown on Morecambe's form and what to expect from Saturday's game.
And from the highlights you can sort of see that, Leyton Orient were unlucky in a sense with the fact that they hit the post a number of times.
We'll also be catching up with Orient right back number 2 Sam Ling, who'll be giving us his thoughts on the season so far and also his views ahead of Saturday's game against the Shrimps.
I think all round the last 2 games we've been spot on, and we need to now continue that and make it more regular.
And if all that wasn't enough for you, we'll also be pitting the 2 free kick kings against each other, as McAnuff and Wilkinson are the first to take part in our new drill, Top Bins. But first, let's catch up with Shrimps fan James Main. Hi James, so thanks for joining us. We'll get straight into the questions. So Morecambe are obviously in very good position in the table at the moment, and it's a massive improvement on last season. What would you say are the reasons for that?
Well, really, since Derek Adams has come in, he came in just over a year ago. He, from the minute off, he's made a really good sort of impact on the side. In January, last January, that was January 2020, he was backed by the board. We had a really big squad then with a number of players that he brought in. But by the end of the season, obviously we were 10 points away from the bottom, so we drifted away from Stevenage. And then really this season, I think really it's been down to recruitment. He's got rid of the players that don't really want to be there. He's brought in players that he's worked with, the likes of Jan Songo, who has been excellent recently. And he's brought in a few other players, and we just seem to have, quality in every position.
Oh, great. So you touched on Derek Adams there as well. Would you mind maybe just telling us a little bit more about, what type of football does he try and implement with his team?
Well, I think it's sort of changed a little bit since last season because of who he's been able to bring in. But mainly it's, possession-based football, keeping it on the floor, but sometimes playing direct balls forward. Adam Phillips, as we touched upon, he always links up very well with Carlos Mendes Gomez. Adam Phillips has had 5 assists this season. It's one man up front, normally Cole Stockton holding up the ball well. Normally the formation probably around 4-2-3-1, but that, we've got players that can. So, for instance, Aaron Wildig, he started on Chelsea in central defensive midfield position, but then he can also play on the left side of the attacking 3 or attacking midfield as well. So, in terms of the style, it's certainly, he's direct at times, looking to dominate possession. We saw a bit of a different side to on Saturday, obviously because Chelsea were going to come onto us, so we had to be compact in defence, right behind, many players behind the ball. So, but that's probably, the style that he looks to play.
Yeah, of course. And, you obviously played back in December with Morecambe winning that one 2-1. What did you take from that game and how do you think it'll be different this time?
Well, the 2 goals we scored were preventable by the Leyton Orient defence. The first goal, it just sort of fell to Sam Lavelle at the far post after a corner, poor Leyton Orient defending from the corner. And Sam Lavelle was able to fire it into the top left-hand corner. Carlos Mendes Gomez getting the second goal, sort of one-on-one with the keeper, lobbing him. So, and from the highlights, you can sort of see that, Leyton Orient were unlucky in a sense with the fact that they hit the post a number of times and stuff like that. Obviously, Danny Johnson put Leyton Orient in front. He's been a key player this season for Orient. I've seen Danny Johnson in the past playing for other clubs, so I saw him quite a lot for Gateshead previously when I was at university in Sunderland. So, Leyton Orient have quality in the side, of course. There's only 2 positions separating us in the table. Obviously, Morecambe have 2 games in hand. In terms of the difference that Morecambe may have, well, obviously we've come into the game off the back of a defeat to Chelsea. We've not played a League 2 game since Boxing Day. So given that time off, you know, the 10 days off for self-isolation, maybe a bit of a rest. But I think more it'll have impact the players' fitness.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much for that, James. Thank you for joining us. And quickly, before we wrap up, what would your prediction be for the weekend's game between the two of us?
I don't like to sort of go against Morecambe in score predictions. I always like to be optimistic. For the Chelsea game, I was realistic, though, rather than optimistic. I think quite a few Morecambe fans are a bit over-optimistic. But I would go a 1-1 draw.
Top stuff, James. Thanks again for joining us, and enjoy the game on Saturday. Right then, we've got Joby McAnuff and Connor Wilkinson waiting for us back out on the training pitch. Let's head out. We've all seen what they're capable of on the pitch from set-piece situations, but now it's time to see where that practice really makes perfect. The rules are simple. Joby McAnuff is taking on Connor Wilkinson in 3 rounds of shooting drills to try and hit the top bins. First, they'll each get 3 free kicks, then 3 volleys, and lastly 2 penalties, 1 with the left foot and 1 with the right. They get a point for each goal scored and 3 points if they manage to hit the top bins. So, let's see who's the king.
Here we go. Hey! There's first one. Oh, tell you what, the line's perfect, just a little bit lower. Don't know whether to switch a little reverser on him or not though. I know he's heard me. Downer. I'll take 1 out of 3 because Con's getting 0, mate. You ready?
Go on, Sachi. I'm ready, mate. I know the camera's rolling, but you've got 2 good hands. Try and catch it. Giving away a corner there, mate. Yeah, got to defend it.
I'll reverse it.
Round 1, yeah? Back it up.
Let's do zing and then touch, but it's got to stay in here, yeah? Yeah. It's mind games, it's trying to get in my head. It's trying to throw me off. That's -1 for Con. Oh. If you could serve to my right, that would be brilliant, mate. Perfect. Oh! We are supposed to be going for the top bin, yeah? Just saying. Great serve, you. 1 out of 2. Brilliant. Don't talk and play. That's the rule for today.
Generous. You see the quality of service? Superb. Yeah. Difference, isn't it? Oh. Wow. Very. Where's the best ball to be played now?
It's alright, we're even now. Come on then. I'm on Sergeant boy. Yes! Down as well, mate. This is one we've been waiting for though. Keep swearing, you know you can on the O show, mate, yeah?
No!
Come on, that's a bad decision. Right, here we go. Come on. Let's finish on a high. You know where I go as well, don't you? Huh? Do you know where I go?
No, I don't know.
No? No. Alright, this is my match pen.
No, anyway, John.
Mate, how weird does that feel running up to a ball to take a pen this way? Good job I'm two-footed though. Ready?
Come on, Sarge.
Ah! Come on! Does that mean through to the next round or what? Thanks for coming. Oh boy, sees another young one off again.
A couple of decent top bin efforts there from Connor and Joby, but now we've got Sam Ling waiting for us in the boot room. Let's go catch up with him. So thanks for joining us, Sam. Firstly, there was no game last weekend, and that must be frustrating, especially after two really great wins against Southend and Salford.
Yeah, after two great wins like that, all you want to do is keep the momentum going. So we wanted to play the game, but obviously the weather dictated that. So we didn't have the game. We was in training at 11v11 against each other, which was good, and then crack on this week.
And looking back on those two games, you know, it was two home clean sheets, fantastic complete performances. What did you take away from that?
I think the resilience to get the clean sheet, and then the style of play we played some really good football, scored some good goals. I think all round the last two games we've been spot on, and we need to now continue that and make it more regular.
And you were at the O's from a young age through the academy, of course, and you spent a couple of years at Dagenham and then rejoining Orient. What does it mean for you to play for Orient?
Oh, it's massive for me. I've been here for over 10 years of my life, from when I was young to even now, and it's a privilege for me to play for such a club like Leyton Orient, and I want to take this club and be a part of it to get it as high as it can do and where I believe it should be.
Of course, and of course your dad is Martin Ling, who won promotion with the O's from this league as well back in 2005 as the manager. How is it from your perspective, you know, having that working relationship with him?
At times I find it difficult because I feel people might have the opinion that I'm here because of him, but I feel like as I've got older I've started to get away from that and prove to myself and to everyone else that I'm here off my own back. And look, like he's doing his job here away from me, I'm doing my job on the pitch, so at the minute it's working really well.
And of course this season you've come in and out of the team a little bit. How in it a lot more recently? How's that felt?
Yeah, it's been tough because I feel like when I play my best football is with rhythm and playing game in, game out, loads and loads, Saturday, Tuesdays. So it was tough when I had that period when I wasn't playing, but I feel now that I'm back in the team, playing well, we're getting good results that long may that continue.
And there's a lot of familiar faces alongside you, with a lot of players that you would have played with in the National League. How do you find it playing in that settled back four? Yeah,
I think it's always good when it's a settled squad. Last year we managed to keep a big chunk of the squad, and I think that's now showing that we all know what each other are capable of, and it's like you said, it's good to look round and see people that you trust.
And as we look ahead to this Saturday's game, Morecambe travel to E10. It was only recently that we played them away, and what do you feel as though we learnt about them when we played them back in December?
The first half when we played them at their place, I think was one of the best first half we played this season, but we let it slip second half. They worked out how to stop the way we played, so we now need to think of different ways to get around that. We know they're hard working like any team in this league, so we just need to be bang on it ourselves and come away with the 3 points.
And obviously right back's your familiar position, but we've seen you play in kind of the defensive midfield in some EFL trophy games and getting yourself on the score sheet. Is that an element of your game that you work on at all?
Ever since I've been young, I've played multiple positions. As a youngster, I was a centre midfielder, and then when I'd done my scholarship here, started to move to right back. But as long as I'm on the pitch, I'm happy, and obviously contributing with goals and assists, then I'm even more happy with that.
Before we go, we've got one last thing for you O's fans out there. We've started up a new Fantasy Premier League for all O's fans to join and hopefully win some prizes, and the details are on screen now. The deadline for that is 11:30 on Saturday morning, and the winner of the first week will be receiving 4 free Papa John's pizzas with new prizes every week, so make sure you get involved. And that is sadly all we've got time for on this week's episode of E10 Extra. Thank you for everyone who came on, and thank you for watching at home. And if you haven't already, make sure you purchase your pass for Saturday's game against Morecambe, and we'll see you there.